Good morning, students. Let us discuss the questions answers from chapter 7, Packing by Jerome K. Jerome. I hope you have read and you have tried to answer by your own. However, quickly, I will be speaking quickly the answer. Though you can write in your own words or you can just copy, you can just pause and you can write it down, okay? Yeah, the first question. Discuss in pairs and answer each question below in a short paragraph. How many characters are there in the narrative? Name them, don't forget the dog. So remember, there are 3 characters, of course you know it, but then you have to include the dog and therefore 4 characters in the narrative, including the dog. They are the narrator. Narrator is who? Jerome K. Jerome. You have to write the name. Then Harris, George, and the 4th is the dog named Mondemerency. Second, why did the narrator volunteer to do the packing? Because he felt that he knew more about packing or better than any other person living in this world. Moreover, he could get an opportunity to boss the job, and George and Harris would do the job under his direction. This is what he felt, but he was a failure. Third question, how did George and Harris react to this? Did Jerome like their reaction? Answer would be, George and Harris accepted the narrator's suggestion readily, but Jerome did not like it. Fourth, what was Jerome's real intention when he offered to pack? His real intention was to boss the job, to supervise the job. He wanted that Harris and George should work under his guidance and instructions, but they accepted the proposal and sat idle on the chairs comfortably. Fifth, what did Harris say after the bag was shut and strapped? Why do you think he waited till then to ask? Harris asked the narrator to put the boots in the bag after strapping the bag. He did it with an intention to irritate the narrator. He was just sitting. When he finished packing, he said, did you put the boot? Sixth, what horrible idea occurred to Jerome a little later? Answer would be, Jerome was going to close the bag after putting the boots in it. He suddenly thought of his toothbrush. While traveling, he must needed the toothbrush which he packed in the bag. Now he had to search for it in the bag. Seventh, where did Jerome finally find the toothbrush? Answer would be, Jerome tried his best to find the toothbrush. He unpacked the bag but could not find it. He put the things back one by one and held everything up and shook it. At last he found it inside a boot. Eighth, why did Jerome have to reopen the packed bag? Because what happened? Jerome packed his spectacles in the bag, so he had to reopen the packed bag. Ninth, what did George and Harris offer to pack and why? George and Harris, answer, offered to pack hamper, food items, because they wanted Jerome to take some rest. They decided to pack the rest of things themselves. Also, they felt that they are better than George. Question number 10. While packing the hamper, George and Harris do a number of foolish and funny things. Tick the statements that are true. First, they started with breaking a cup. True or false? It's a true. They also broke a plate. It's false. They squashed a tomato. True. They trod on the butter. True. They stepped on a banana. We are not told. So false. They put things behind them and couldn't find them. True. They stepped on things. True. They stepped on many things. They packed the pictures at the bottom and put heavy things on top. We are not told about it. So it's false. They upset almost everything. True. And they were very good at packing. It's a false statement. Question number 11. What does Jerome say was Montmorency's ambition in life? What do you think of Montmorency and why? Answer would be, his ambition in life was to interfere with others and be abused. Abused means be scolded. He wants to be a perfect nuisance and make people mad. If things are thrown at his head, he feels his day has not been wasted. To get somebody to stumble over him and curse him steadily for an hour is his biggest aim and object. He came and sat on things just when they were going to be packed. He put his leg into the jam and worried the teaspoons and pretended that lemons were rats and got into the hamper and killed 3 of them. It is the natural, original sin that is born in him that makes him to do things like that. Second part of answer, okay? What do you think of mondemerency and why? The last is, it is the natural, original sin that is born in him that makes him do things like that. Who said this? Jerome. Discuss in groups and answer the following questions in 2 or 3 paragraphs. Of the 3, Jerome, George and Harris, who do you think is the best or worst packer? Support your answer with details from the text. Of the 3, Harris is the worst packer in this world, but none of them is the perfect packer. All of them are confused and do not know what is to be placed and where. So far as Jerome is concerned, he unpacked the bag to find his toothbrush in a boot. This shows he is also not a good packer. He also packs his spectacles in the bag. Again, the proof that he is not a good packer. Harris and George start. They think they are best packers, but they are work in a light-hearted spirit. They start in a light-hearted spirit, very happily. There are piles of plates, cups, kettles, bottles, jars, pies, stoves, cakes and tomatoes, and they break a cup. They show they are not good packers. Harris packs the strawberry jam on top of a tomato and squashed it. And so, not a proof of good packers. They have to pick out the tomato with a teaspoon, fully smashed. George treads on the butter. He gets it off from his slipper and puts it in the kettle. He puts down on a chair and Harry sits on it. All this confusion, okay? He sticks to him and then they look for it all over the room. In this way, they created chaos in the room, lot of disturbance, and therefore they are not the good packer. Question number 2. How did mondemerency contribute to the packing? How he helps them in packing, okay? Mondemerency contribution to the packing cannot be forgotten. His ambition in life was to disturb others and be abused by them. He came and sat on things just when they were going to be packed, and he put his leg into the jam. He disturbed everything. He pretended the lemons to be rats and got into the hamper and killed 3 of them. Mondemerency wanted to be a perfect nuisance and make people mad. If things are thrown at his head, he feels his day has not been wasted. To get somebody to stumble over him and curse him steadily for an hour was his highest aim and objective. When he got succeeded in accomplishing it, his conceit became quite unbearable. Number 3. Do you find this story funny? What are the humorous elements in it? Pick out at least 3. Think of what happens as well as how it is described. The story is really humorous and funny. The writer's episode of packing, Harris and George's way of packing, and Mondemerency's contribution have made the story funny and interesting. Jerome was confused about his toothbrush and found it in a boot. He also packed his spectacles in the bag. The incident of butter makes the reader laugh. George treads on the butter and it sticks to his slipper. Later he puts it on the chair. Harry sits on the chair and it sticks to his bottom. They squash the tomatoes by putting the strawberry jam on them. Mondemerency's pretension for the lemons to be rats is also fascinating and funny. These incidents are described in an orderly and perfect way. Next you will find there the table. See the question, match the words or phrases in column A with their meanings in column B. When it was lesson was going on already, I have told you actually the answer. Slaving means what? Doing hard work. The last, 8th. Chaos means 6th. Complete confusion and disorder. Rummage means search for something by moving things around hurriedly or carelessly. 5th question. 5th, this side, B side. 4th, scrape out. Scrape out means what? 2nd, remove something from inside another thing using a sharp tool. 5th, stumble over or tumble into means what? You say there. 7th, fall or step awkwardly while walking. That is called stumble. Accomplish. 6th, accomplish means this side. 4th, finish successfully or achieved. Uncanny. 7th is uncanny. Uncanny means third one, strange, mysterious, difficult to explain. To have or get into a row means a quarrel or an argument, eighth one. Now use the suitable words or phrases from column A above to complete the paragraph given below. A traffic jam. During power cuts, when traffic lights go off, there is utter dash at crossroad. What will happen here? Chaos. Okay, a lot of disturbance. Drivers add to the confusion by dash over a right or right of way. That means getting into a row, fight, and nearly some come to blows. Sometimes passers-by seeing a few policemen slaving, working hard at regulating traffic, step in to help. This gives them a feeling of having accomplished something. They have accomplished at last something. After that rest all you leave it. You come here to again the table you see there on page number 91, second. You see the table below has some proverbs telling you what to do and what not to do. Fill in the blanks and add a few more such proverbs to the table. Are you seeing this? Yeah. See, save for a rainy day. These are the sayings, proverbs. This is the positive. Make hay while the sun shines. Third, dash before you leap. Very common saying. Look before you leap. That means before jumping you must look. Dash and let live. Very common. Live and let live. Negative would be don't cry over spilt milk. Don't put the cart before the horse. Horse has to be before the cart. Okay. Third, dash a mountain out of a molehill. Don't make a mountain out of a molehill. That means for small thing, don't make a big mountain, big problem. Dash all your eggs in one basket. Don't put all your eggs into one basket. Some more example that positive would be morning shows the day. Keep all things in apple pie order. Tagore was a man of letters. Gandhiji died in harness. Negative would be don't believe in all the sundry. Don't count your eggs before they are hatched. Don't act before thinking. Don't keep your father in the dark. These kind of things are the we call it phrases, or we call it, what do we call it? I told you already. We call it a proverbs. These are the proverbs. So write down 7th chapter questions answer also and learn them. Thank you students. Have a nice day.